Hey everybody, I want to make a quick demonstration of the new copy this to that editor script. It's more of an inspector script, I suppose, because it does require to be on an object in a scene to work. So basically, I want to customize this plant monster here, and there's 4 different materials attached to it, and each one has a lot of options. The flowers here has this main enable texture modification, 6 separate sections for the flowers and the pistils, which is the area inside the flowers, and the stems up here and the pollen flowers up there, and then all the environmental aspects: the ground dirt, ceiling dirt, surface dirt, directional dirt, damage, fabric wearing, leather wearing, metal wearing, special effects, and this rune option. And then if I wanted to add custom stuff like metal or other materials, base materials, I'd have to fill them in here. And if I wanted to do, say, make something completely stone, like I wanted to make a stone flower where it's just completely turned into stone, I'd have to put these textures on every single one, which is 6 here. I think there's like another 11 over, so 17 different areas, and I have to go through each one and modify the settings, and that could get really tedious. So I created this script to basically copy the settings from one section to another section. And I've loaded up this SFB Plant Monster Texture Creation Unity demo. It's in the demo scenes folder next to the regular demo for the animations. And you can use this scene to customize your textures if you'd like as well. It's just a simple lighting setup. But I've got this preset, and I've already populated this script. I'm going to start it from scratch so you can see how I've gone about doing this. In essence, the script takes a source material, which are one of these procedural materials that come with the package, and a source name, we'll get to that in a second, and it transfers that data to a target material. It can be the same material if you'd like, with a target name. So let's go ahead and delete these and start from scratch. First thing I'm going to do is actually add a component, add the copy of this to that script. Now the V1 is important because it matches the version 1 on the materials right here. If I change a lot of the settings, I'll update this to version 2, but for now we're going to stay with version 1. I'm going to start by clicking add new action. I'm going to bring my main plant monster material in there, and I'm just going to type in main for now, and I'll tell you why in a second. Then I'm going to use the plant monster, type in main as well, and I'm going to click add new action. When I do that, it copies the data from the previous row. Since I know I've got 4 other ones, I want to copy the main on all of them, so 3 other ones. So I'm going to bring in thorns here and also the vines here. Alright, so now what this means is that when I click the copy settings, the plant monster main will be copied to the plant monster flowers, thorns, and vines main. Now that refers to the section on the material called main right here, which really is just enable texture modification. That's important because without this enabled, all the modifications on our colors won't update. But if you do have it enabled, then the color of the plant is able to be changed. If you'd like, you can go to this website, infinitypbr.com/copy this to that, and there's some basic instructions. This video is going to be posted up here as well, and if you click on the character that you're trying to work on, it will tell you the name. So right here, the plant monster character has for each material the names, the plant, vines, mouth, pollen, stems, and so on down the line. Now you don't see main here because main's actually a global name. Every material in version 1 will have a section called main. Every material will have ground dirt, surface dirt, directional dirt, etc., and this rune down here, which is a special effects option as well, really. So if you want to change main, just use main. If you want to change the environmental ground dirt, use env_ground dirt. If you want to change all of these at once, all these environmental ones, just use env. That's going to be a common use because once we add ground dirt and surface dirt, often we want the same look on all parts of the model. Further, if I have multiple models, since they're all version 1, I can use the same technique with copy this to that to copy the environment, damage, and ground dirt, and surface dirt, etc. to all the models, even if they're not the same model. So if I have the rock monster up here, and the mushroom monster, and the giant worm, all of the characters from the PBR monster pack number 1, then I can copy the ground dirt from one character to every single material in that package, which is quite a lot of them, with just the click of a button. So that's pretty helpful in the end. So I'm going to go ahead and start by just modifying the plant monster, just the body material, and I'm going to speed up the video for this part. Alright, so I've changed the mouth section and the plant section, but I didn't change the vine section because I want the vines, which are these ones that stick out right here, I want those to match the outside plant. So I'm going to use copy this to that to manage that. And then I also add some surface dirt and ground dirt and some damage because I want to make it look like it's not brand spanking new. So you can see the difference when I turn it off and on right there with the damage. So I like that, and I'm going to go ahead and set up my copy this to that control. So I'm going to use the same graph right here for the main settings. I'm going to add a new action. I already have plant monster and main selected. I'm going to change main to plant, and then I'm going to add my plant monster here and check vines. That way, the plant monster, the same material that's the source material, will the vine section will get that. Then I click add new. And for the next one, I'm going to choose the vines material right here, and I'm going to copy plant to the leaf. That's these big leaves. And I'm going to do one more for the vines and call midriff, or midrib rather. Midrib, which is that middle line right there. These smaller vines are also on that material, so I'll add 2 more actions for vine 1 and vine 2. Next, I'm going to do the, well, actually, you know what? The thorns and the teeth I don't want to do because I might want to change those independently. And the flowers as well I might want to change independently. But I do want to update perhaps this because this is green, and so let me change the stems there. I'm going to add one more action. Oh, I already added the action, so I'm going to... this is going to be for the flowers. I'm going to update the pollen stems. Alright, and then I'm going to create another instance of copy this to that. And this is because when I click copy settings, it's going to do all of these, and I think I might want to not copy all of the settings for the environment. I'm not sure. So just in case, I'm going to put that in a brand new section. And we're going to call this ENV. And add another target material, ENV, for environment. That'll copy all the ground dirt, the surface dirt, and all the other environmental effects to all the other materials. Now, it did take a quick second for Unity to update the materials. That's common. It should take not too long at all. These new graphs are pretty fast. And so there we go. So now I've got a brand new look without having to go through all of the settings individually. And that saved me a whole lot of time from remembering the settings and actually doing the modifications. So one thing here is I didn't update the thorns or the flowers, and so I might want to do that. But since I want it to be independent of these other sections, I can actually add a new copy this instance right here. And now we've updated the hue on all of them. As they update, we'll see the changes. That looks exotic enough. So now I'm going to export my materials. If you haven't done this yet, the best way to do them of the newest versions, just click this gear icon, click the export bitmaps. I have put in each section, so if you go to the plant monster and export textures and materials, create a new folder. We'll call this a dark red, and we'll just export all of the maps there. That way we keep them organized and we can create our materials for them in that same folder. Now before Unity imports them, even though I've saved it in the project, Unity hasn't recognized the new files yet. Before that happens, I'm going to get rid of the emissive and height maps if they show up here. Because we're not going to be using them, and all they'll do is take up disk space. So I should have 16 total, 4 for each map. And I'm also going to do one more thing. I've created an Automator application that's an Apple Mac thing to change these to PNG. They're basically save on disk space if they're PNG. PNG is lossless, and having a lot of these on your disk can bring up a lot of space that you don't really need to use. Now that Unity has imported that, I'm going to go into my dark red here, create a new material. We're going to call this Plant Monster Dark Red. You just populate the maps, bring the albedo into the albedo, ambient occlusion into your ambient occlusion, normal into the normal, and metallic roughness into the metallic roughness. Click the Fix Now button. You could do that elsewhere, but it's faster just to do it here. And now you have your fully game-ready material. That's a standard shader material. So that's pretty much the demo. I'm going to finish up these materials here and make a whole bunch more versions of the flower monster here, or plant monster rather. I'm going to speed up the video so you can watch it if you're interested in checking out the different things you can do with the texture customization. But hopefully you'll be using this, copy this to that script to speed up your own customization of all the materials. So enjoy, guys. Have a great day. One thing I should point out, if when you click the copy buttons, the copy settings buttons, click only one at a time and let the update go before you click a second one, because the action does stop the updating of all the materials at the start of it. So if you click them too fast before they're finished updating, then you may not see the changes. The changes will be there, and if you go to export the maps, they'll be present and they'll be seen in the maps, but you won't see it in Unity until you do that export. So it's best just to click the copy settings, wait until the update's done, and then click the next one if you have multiple copy settings. Also, it's important to note that when you're creating the materials, oftentimes they can share the normal map, metallic, and ambient occlusion maps with each other. For these dark versions, for instance, I'm not making any changes to the reflections or the ambient occlusion or the normal map, and so all of the dark plant monsters, and probably the other ones I make after this, can share the same maps, and that will save a lot of RAM and disk space in your game.